She has designed many of Nokia's beloved mobile phones during her 13 years career working for Nokia Design, as well as computers, heart rate monitors, and outdoor sports instruments. At the moment, she is the founder of Omuus, a CMF agency specializing in wearable technology and consumer electronics design. It's a pleasure to welcome to the stage Annina Verkkomäki.
Hello, Bulgaria and Sofia. I'm so delighted to be here. My name is Annina Verkkomäki, and I'm here to tell you about the design trends affecting the wearable technology tomorrow. I'm just looking at where is my presentation. So my design background is in Nokia and Microsoft design. My company is named Omuus, and we are color material technology specialists. Thank you, super. And what I'm going to tell you today is about painting the picture of who is your most influential consumer target group, and what do they aspire to, and what does that mean for wearable technology tomorrow. First of all, the consumer group. The most influential consumer group globally is the millennials. So they equal up to 71 billion globally. They are with the most spending power, and they also are the most influential consumer group. So they influence others on what to buy. Their peers, their parents, and their children. They are very extremely design and health conscious. So what do we know more about them? First of all, it's not only about high technology device. You need to get the package right. You need to excite them with your storytelling. You need to tell about the materials, the quality, where was the device made, how was it made, and don't forget about the ethical sourcing. That is key concern for millennials in Europe, many of the BRIC countries, and in China. Simplicity and the intuitive use cases are key for the mass adoption. So think about making the device to fit their lifestyle in a way that they are minimalistic, and that's the easiest way to be adaptable to different type of styles. The expectations are huge when it comes to how many connected devices there will be only in few years timescale, and this is one of the most reasonable forecasts. But making device, the simpler it is, the easier it is to be adopted by many different type of consumer groups. One of the biggest trends influencing the design is sensploration. That's one of our key areas of design, what my company is specializing to. Telling about sensploration, it's about sensitivity towards shapes, the materials, textures, and designing for the senses. Designing for the touch and sense, visual stimulation, sense, and taste. And why is it so important? Is because the consumer makes judgment over your brand trustworthiness and the device quality within 7 seconds. Because of the weight, how the construction is, the quality, and the overall feel. So 7 seconds is a very short time frame, and that is why you need to be very careful on designing for the sensploration. Talking again about the millennials, so 70% of the millennials in United States expect brands to stimulate their senses. So consumers today, they are not only concerned about the brand and the value or the monetary value of your device, but they are more concerned about the experiences and the emotional value that the devices and the experiences, services bring to them. I think that car industry is one of the most used example when it comes to sensorial design. Designing for the sound of closing door is one of the most used example when it comes to sensorial design. And many of the car brands have different sound engineers designing for different categories how the car should sound. So think about, how does your brand sound? One of the most exciting researches that I read recently was conducted to find out the human-computer interaction, and the findings there was, skip the plastic if you can. People prefer textile over plastic. They prefer devices that react to their touch. And that's what you should be aiming to. I'm not going to tell you about the different technologies or different type of benchmarking, because there are plenty other speakers who are going to tell you about that. But if we are talking about that, there are similar components that derive the shape and the size of the millions of wearables today in the market. So what becomes the differentiating element in the future is the material technologies. This is just one example of our work for Suunto, Finnish premium sport brands, and this device is actually ceramic. Their ceramic edition, quite lovely, high perceived value. But about the Senseploration, the reason why we do that is because it paves the path for the consumer to make the purchase decision, because 90% of the purchase decision is made subconsciously. About the visual stimulation then, okay, let's talk about how do we predict sales. This is just a 10 years time frame of how the perception of color white has changed. Only 13 years or so ago, white in cars was considered very low value, resale value in the market. Yes, last year, 2015, white car color was the most sold color globally. And white today is associated with high technology goods. One of those, the Nokia ones, is actually my designs, long time ago. So for some reason this doesn't work. Anybody? Oh, okay. All right. So again, coming back to why the visual stimulation, why the color is so important to think about the purchase decisions. 84% of consumers cite color as the primary reason to buy a particular product. In car industry, 59% of people say that the color is influencing their purchase decision. Again, one of our designs for Suunto, one of the best sellers in their portfolio. But when we come back to the design and thinking about this style aspect of it, virtual reality and augmented reality are just a new exciting opportunity to stimulate the senses and expand the boundaries even more. And I just love this example of Artifact. This is a hoodie concept for virtual reality, but because of it makes the virtual reality device less awkward. And talking about the style, when it comes to the medical wearables, style is even more important aspect to the design. Because think for a moment that you have a sickness or a disability. All of us want to look good. We do not want to portray negative things. We want to look healthy. So that's one of the key areas even more important in the medical wearables to make the devices look stylish. Otherwise, the consumers simply would not wear it. So what does this mean for you? Just as a wrap-up. First of all, put your end consumer first instead of end of chain. Start with knowing who is your consumer, what do they aspire to, and then design for the senses. Because remember that those devices that evoke emotions always wins. And lastly, remember that there is only one chance to make first impression. Thank you.